Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spotlights with Dory. And I am super excited because today we have the incredibly talented, extremely brilliant painter. Do you call yourself a painter, artist? What do you call yourself? Shawn Howe.
I I call myself an illustrator.
Ooh, okay. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
start with that. Is there a reason for that preference for you?
Um, it was just it kind of seemed appropriate because when generally people say they reserve the term painter or artist and stuff for people who do fine art,
Mm.
the cool landscapes and stuff, and I can do that stuff. I just don't because I'm usually backed up on commissions or doing a cover for some comic book, and everything I do has more of a pop culture feel to it.
Okay.
So it doesn't have that lofty, almost snooty, fine art, connotation to
Really?
it.
Talk about me like that, Shawn.
No, no, no,
I'm
no,
I'm
no.
teasing. You know I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding because I'm like branching into your world, which is why I'm like that's a curious, like I didn't even expect that answer, and I love how that goes. I love that your answer took us down that road. So finish what you were saying.
But yeah, and I mean, I try not to take it too seriously. I mean, honestly, I've only been doing art full time for a little over a year now.
Okay.
Um, I went a long time, almost 15 years without drawing anything, and then I just picked it back up about 8, 9 years ago, and I've been
Wow.
trying to get back to it.
So
So
that's gonna, I think you know this. We may have talked about it. I've only been really aggressively, seriously doing my art for another, like I think the last 6.5 years. But I had done it. I had a similar story to that where I left it alone for a long time. I wouldn't touch it for a long time. I wouldn't even show it to people for a long time.
yeah,
Um, so we're gonna get into the first part of today's show, which I call Spitlights. It is my version of spitballing, and it's just a fun little way for me and for everyone watching. And for those of you that are watching, please feel free to leave up a comment or a question for Shawn. My first question is: peanut butter creamy or chunky, and why?
chunky.
Ooh, you are my first chunky answer. So what's up with that? Why the preference?
It just feels more like you're eating peanut butter. Crunchy. I mean, creamy just kind of blends in, especially like with jelly.
That's a
So,
good point. I hadn't
in
even thought
fact,
about that.
I will usually go for Jif extra crunchy if I can find it.
Ooh. Yeah, I usually rather use creamy in a sandwich, but I have to have like the chunkiest chunky for my peanut butter cookies.
See, I don't bake cookies, so
I would bake you cookies.
well, I don't know about you.
Okay, so the next question, and I kind of think I know what you might say to this one, but no matter what your mood is, what always makes you smile? What are their names? Because I know you're going to go to your kids.
Probably, yeah, the kids. They don't always make me smile, but
An honest parent, everyone, an honest parent.
hey, but
Okay.
they're all very much a mini me.
Oh,
So
well, then
yeah.
that means they're perfect.
Oh, I'm
For
gonna come
anyone
kidnap
watching,
you.
don't get upset. Sean's like one of my favorites. Okay, I'm a little starstruck right now. Okay, so then let's go to the next one is what's the one thing you cannot go a whole day without? No matter what else you eat, drink, or do, what can't you go
Coffee,
without? Coffee. Excellent
coffee,
answer. That's a true one for me too. Um,
absolute coffee addict.
is there any close seconds?
Um, yeah, I have to have music sometime during the
Ooh.
day.
Okay, tell me about your playlist. Do you have a playlist?
Oh, my playlist is crazy.
Oh, I want to hear this. This is why I'm asking. Do you have one
It
playlist, dude?
is.
How do you separate out your music?
I only have two playlists. I have a workout playlist, which is odd, and
It's what?
well, a lot of people would find it odd. I've got like
You're talking to
the
me. Leave the rest of the world out. I want to know. Is it sexy music? Is it rock? Is it hip hop?
well, oh no, my workout playlist is like the score to Conan the Barbarian and like
Ooh,
oh man, yeah. Nothing will make
that
you want to
makes
whoop somebody.
perfect sense.
Do what?
I said that makes perfect sense. And I love soundtracks. I'm a soundtrack junkie. Like I will go, like I have tons of music tastes and loves, but music soundtracks like to movies, similar to a score for a movie, right? Like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
I love how it's kind of like this compile. I don't know how to put it. There's something connected about the songs in a way that it's a good thing to have on, like one after another. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely, because I love soundtracks too.
Okay.
And I have such bad ADD that I don't want to sit down and listen to the same band over and over again.
Yes.
So like I have certain soundtracks that are like go-tos for me because they jump around in tone. Everything's got a small central theme, but it branches off. Like I love the From Dusk Till Dawn soundtrack. Absolutely love that. And I mean, it's got like, it's got just all this great music.
I'm gonna have to go look that up because I know I don't know if the soundtrack or the music picking of a soundtrack matters, but that's Quentin Tarantino, and the soundtrack of Pulp Fiction is one of my absolute favorites.
Oh, absolutely.
I have that soundtrack, and so I don't know who, if it's a different person that would do the soundtracks, but I do know those are both Quentin Tarantino movies.
Quentin Tarantino has a lot to do with the soundtracks to his movies.
Does he? Because that makes perfect sense. For those of you watching, I'm interrupting real quick, and I did put your Facebook link down at the bottom.
Very cool. Thank you.
I just remembered to do that. So because we do have a few people watching, and so I wanted to make sure they knew where to go to find you. The next question is mayonnaise or Miracle Whip?
Neither.
Oh, wow. Okay. Why?
Because mayonnaise is nasty.
Mayonnaise do you like mustard?
I love mustard.
Okay. Do you have any preference for the mustard?
Like
red or yellow, or are you one of those Dijon guys?
I'm a Dijon guy, or a coarse ground, spicy brown type mustard guy.
Okay. Can you tell? These are kind of questions I ask everyone, Shawn, but I kind of want to feel like I think I might want to cook for this man. Haha. Okay, the next question is, what is your go-to treat at the movies?
It's been so long since I've gone to the movies.
I know, isn't that terrible? Same here.
Yeah, it's been well over. Either red vines or sweet tarts.
Ooh, red vines. And when you say red vines, I'm assuming you mean red vines, the brand red vines, not Twizzlers. Right. Like you're not going to try to eat Twizzlers, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I like Twizzlers. I don't hate them, but the actual red vines.
Yeah. I'm like, Twizzlers. If someone handed me a pack of Twizzlers, I'd just throw them in the trash. Okay. If you could pick if you could pick one spirit animal, what would it be? Or creature, and what would it be? And why?
Lion.
Okay. I'm so excited by this answer because lioness is mine. So why the lion?
I have just always identified with lions since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. It helps that I'm a Leo. But
nice.
I just have always thought that lions were just so awesome. And then watching documentaries on them, they're not how they're portrayed in like The Lion King and stuff like that. That male lions are quite possibly the laziest creature known to man. You know, they just lay around, and you know, the female lions do all the hunting and dealing with the kids. The male lions get up
I am a total lioness, 100%.
He gets up and handles business and goes back and takes a nap, and it's like, yeah, that's what you want to be.
And she does do the hunting and such. But what I do know from because they're my favorite animal. They're absolutely by and far my favorite. It's not a painting of mine, but one of my favorite 8x10s I spent good money on was a portrait. It's not a painting, it's a photograph. It's an actual I have since forgotten the name of the photographer. It was one I got like at an art fair. So the photographer was a real, like artist. I bought from an actual living, breathing artist who wasn't famous. Woohoo! We're gonna get to that. Like, buy from someone you know. But right, it's a mother lion and 2 cubs because I have 2 sons, and so it was perfect for me. We have our first comment. Who is here? Kate. Hi guys, glad I got home in time to tune in tonight. Kate Krasinski is the painter I had on.
Hey Kate.
I think I've shown Shawn some of your work, Kate, and I know you guys. I mean, you guys are completely different types of art, but 100%. I'm in awestruck of both of you as painters and artists. So then so what about, is there a mythical creature that you would tend to maybe go to or that you love more than another that you would identify with?
I love dragons. And when I say dragons, I mean like the giant, like sword in the stone type dragons, because a lot of people like the Asian dragons, which are really cool. But like those giant, huge wingspan, Game of Thrones, fire and blood dragons,
Oh yeah.
Although the Game of Thrones weren't really, I guess, dragons. But
it was funny. I was on an art stream and I made a comment about how I felt like dragons were overutilized and too saturated in the comic books and book industry or whatever. But dragons, 100%, they are my mythical creature that I identify with. And I'm in the same category. Like did you ever see that Christian Bale movie with Matthew McConaughey?
Oh yeah.
That's my dragon.
Yeah.
Yes, Rain of Fire. So the next question I have for you is, what is your favorite toy as a child and why?
Great questions.
Yes, thank you.
Favorite specific toy or just like type of toys or
type of toys? It can be type of toys. I was into my brother's G.I. Joe dolls. I couldn't tell you which doll I couldn't tell you what player, but I was all about his G.I. Joes.
I was all about G.I. Joes when I was a kid. Star Wars figures, huge Star Wars fan. And I loved the Masters of the Universe He-Man figures.
Ooh, okay.
Those were great because they were bigger than the G.I. Joes. Because I was in the 3 3/4 inch G.I. Joes, which are really cool, but they're small. Okay. And I liked the He-Man toys because you could just let your imagination go, and you could have like some epic just beating the hell out of each other, and
epic battles.
They would do what?
Epic battles.
Definitely epic.
Well, I was that tomboy girl that played with all my brother's toys, and my only real use of Barbie dolls was what I would make the G.I. Joe dolls do to the Barbies.
G.I. Joe on shore leave.
Exactly. Okay, so now we're going to switch this up a little bit, and we're going to go to the next portion of what I do and what I talk about. These are going to dig a little bit more into the depths of Shawn. Thank you very much for surviving the Spitlights round. Now, if heaven exists, Shawn, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates? And I kind of stole this question from the Actors Studio, but anyway, go ahead and answer it.
I was getting that James Lipton feel here, but I'm kind of liking it.
Hey, they're not most of my questions are originals, but this is he asked something
Well,
very
I felt the idea that I'm being asked questions. Most people don't care what I think, so it's pretty
I
cool.
care. I you know what? Here's the thing, and I'm going to just say this right now because it's my show and I can. Other people, yes, your art's fan-fucking-tastic. We could sit here and look at your paintings and your art all day. But I like to know the people I'm buying from or that I'm following. And this is why I'd like to dig. So there.
That's great. And thanks for
I
letting me know I can drop F-bombs because I tried to avoid it.
For fuck's sake, yeah. I'm not monetized anywhere, so fuck it. Just go for it. Fuck it. Okay. What do you think you'd want to hear God say when you get there?
I think that I would want to be told. Sorry, I gotta put the hair back up.
You just wanted to tease me with your hair down.
Oh no, that's all yours. And I was just like, man, should I put mine down? Should I?
Well, my friends all know. They all know I have a beard and hair thing, so they're probably laughing at it. They don't even laugh at me anymore when I talk about beards and hair. So go ahead.
I get that. I have
a thing.
No, I understand.
He's like, I know.
No, because when I was younger, I had really long hair, and right up until a couple of years after I graduated high school. And every time I'd go to cut it, like some girl would play with it. So I'm like, well, hell, I got to keep this because
exactly.
I can't rely on charm to get women. So, and then years later, a couple of years after high school.
I'm sorry.
Thanks. I cut it for a job, and I hated how it looked short, so I just started shaving my head. And I took it all the way down to the wood for like 10 years.
Wow.
I know, right?
I think I've seen one of those pictures of you bald.
Probably so. And it was so high maintenance. Do what?
You were still cute.
Thank you.
Because, sometimes, I know we're like totally getting off track here, but sometimes I will tell a guy he should have a beard because of my fetish.
Right.
And sometimes I will tell him he needs a beard because he's not cute without one. And then sometimes we meet what we call the win-win guy. The win-win guy looks good with or without.
Cool.
Okay, so what about this question about God? What's God going to say when you get to heaven?
I would just like to be told that I did a good job. That I did well with my kids. I tried to be a good guy to everybody I could. And,
nice.
Just to be told, hey, I know there were some times that you thought that you sucked, but you didn't. You were doing great.
Oh.
Wow, we got all deep and stuff.
You just made me tear up because when I think of my kids, I think of the same kind. I'd probably want to know the same thing. So then here's the next question. What would you like to ask God? Is there any burning question you can think of right off the top of your head you'd want to ask?
I think that I would ask God how it must be so frustrating to see so many people going the complete opposite of what he believed or wanted for us and still claiming it in his name.
Yeah.
Because I'm here in the Bible Belt, and you're from generally this area too, and we deal with a lot here.
Very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it brings up the age-old question. Like I get that question, and I've had that question, and I'm not trying to be your therapist, but this might help. I would rather have free will, because I think the only way for God to have done anything different, or for it to be any different, would to do, in other words, to take away what you just said these people do, where they get off track and they're not in line with what would be decent or what would be good humans. In order for God to play a role in not having that happen, he'd have to take away free will. And I wouldn't want that.
Yeah, sure. I'm with you there. And I'm all about free will. And even like, I'll defend people's freedom to say things that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Just because it's like,
maybe I'm sorry.
You go ahead.
I was going to say, maybe we just have a free will card that gets revoked if you fuck up.
Like taking away your fishing license?
Exactly. Okay. Now, this does bring us to the next question, which is, if you could damn one person to hell or a type of person, who would it be and why? He's like, I don't know. I'm on a public broadcast. My kids might see this. I can't say what I want to say.
If you ask them, I'm sure they'll tell you my ex-wife. Let's see. I don't think I'd want that ability.
Right?
That seems a bit. Yeah. That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, and I don't think, as a male lion Leo, I don't think you're like, I'm good.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody had done something really bad to like my kids or something, obviously, but so far, we're good there.
Right? Knock on wood. Okay, yeah. So as a creator, as an artist, I know you do a lot of things that I don't know how to, I guess as an illustrator, doing things that are in pop culture that already exist, maybe someone else created it, like, for example, the painting behind us, or now, is it appropriate to call it a painting, or because is it painted?
The one behind us?
The vampire girl?
No, that one's actually just graphite. That's just pencil.
An awful lot of graphite pencils, by the way. I read the caption of the picture.
A lot.
She struck me when I came across her, and I knew to save her and set her aside for today, because as you know, I usually sketch almost everything in pencil. I have this thing where even on my canvas sometimes I sketch in pencil, because that's what I did long before I switched to painting.
Mm-hmm.
So what you've got behind us is more similar to what I used to do only. Like I wouldn't even touch anything else but pencil, maybe charcoal. Okay.
Same here, although I didn't use charcoal because just the way charcoal glides across the paper,
right?
It's like nails on chalkboard to me. It's like,
Have you ever tried the pencil charcoals, not the squares, not the blocks, right, but the pencils?
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're describing may just have been the point or the grade of the charcoal, because I have a whole set, and I want more. There's like 2 or 3 that I've run out because they're my favorite. But there's some in there I won't use because of what you just said. I don't like the way they go across the paper. But
I admit that I haven't gotten very deep into charcoal. I like it because it's like really deep, dark black and stuff.
The things I see you do with your marker for some of the contour and highlighting, the magic you would be able to make using gray and black would be insane. It'd be absolutely out of this world. So what brings me to what I brought that all up with was to lead us to this question of, is there something, what is the one most taboo thing you'd never use in your creative works? Now, I know you don't necessarily do a lot of original stuff, right? Like not now, but you have done original stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But is there something taboo? If someone asked you to draw something, and maybe even, would you say no? What if there is? What is it?
Well, I try to stay out of anything political, because I have to kind of be neutral, at least in the sense of, I don't want to alienate any particular group. about stuff. As far as, see, if you'd asked me this a couple of years ago, I would say there's a lot of them. Well, my ex-wife had a thing. She just hated me drawing any other females at all, ever. Clothes.
Is that why you have so many pinups now?
That's part of it, because
he's like, I'm gonna draw every naked woman I can find.
Well, fortunately they sell. So,
hey, I told Shawn to want me and sell it. I got no problems with it.
Yeah, no, and I mean, I used to get requests all the time to draw, Harley Quinn, and just, can you sexy her up a little bit, or Vampirella, or things like that. And I would always have to pass on them because I didn't want to catch hell from my wife. Well, she's gone, so now it's all good. Yeah. But right now, I do draw a line as far as like over-sexualizing cartoon characters.
Okay.
Because I've had some requests for Kim Possible and Daphne and Velma and stuff, and I don't mind drawing Daphne and Velma sexy, but not like
graphic.
Well, yeah, I cut the line pretty close on those, because if it's something that I watched as a cartoon when I was a kid, I'm a little wary of that. Or if it's something that's marketed towards kids,
do you think any of that hesitation to do them that way also plays into not wanting to disrespect the art of those characters? Because to me, the characters that are created for kids, or the characters that are drawn in that way, they're done by an artist. They were original creations of someone who had a concept in mind that was not fucking that woman.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So to me, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but like, I know that's where I would totally probably say no.
Right. And, a lot of it has to do with like, even some of the X-Men characters.
Fox is here. Hey, yo.
Hey.
Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
GRCC was awesome. How you all doing? We are fantastic. What's GRCC, Shawn?
I don't know.
Oh. You gotta explain. Okay, so finish.
Okay, is that Pops?
It's Pops Van Zandt, yes.
Okay, it's probably like Grand Rapids or something. It's got to be a Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. He says, "Hey yo, GRCC was awesome. How you all doing?"
I'm gonna say that's probably Grand Rapids Comic-Con.
Oh, is that the thing? I think he was going to something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, he answered. Hold on. Here we go. Yep, you were right. Grand Rapids Comic-Con. Okay, so going back to this question. So I 100% am on. Was there more you wanted to elaborate on that?
Yeah, okay. So like if it's a character that is a kid, like Jubilee from the X-Men.
Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer, yeah. Daphne and Velma,
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, Powerpuff Girls, stuff like that. It's like, no, I'm not gonna sexify the Powerpuff Girls for you.
Well, Smurfette was a grown woman, I think. I don't think Smurfette was a girl. Like, I don't think she was a child. I'm trying to think of, you're right. Okay, so we're talking about like Daphne and Zelma were teenagers. Right?
Yeah, they're a little borderline because they were probably, they're riding around in a van by themselves throughout the area. So I mean, they're probably 18, 19, somewhere in there.
Pop says we made at least 50 new contacts, a couple new podcasters, and some wonderful artists. Just wait. I'm super excited. And I told Pops today, because I came across some creators, and he may know them. He may know the comic book guys that I came across today. Because as you know, I know Shawn knows this, and I know Pops knows this. I'm a little bit of a live stream junkie, and I watch a lot of live streams because it's my way of being in touch with the world. It has a lot to do with that. And I like live feeds. So I know we're getting off topic here, but I told Pops today, I'm like, I got to make sure that I don't always remember to tell Pops. And he may know who these people are. He may know who they are, but I don't know that he knows, you know? So I've got to be more mindful to keep him, you know, because once he knows who these people are, he's going to try to promote them or help promote them. That's, you know, because that's what he does. Okay. Yeah. So let me 3 times now. Anywho, back to this question of the taboo. Is there anything other than that you can think of that you wouldn't do now? That particular thing?
Not offhand.
So real quick, going back to what you said originally about politics. So if someone messaged you and wanted you to do, you know, Melania Trump in a really, you know, crazy out of this, you know, world pinup way that you do with some of your stuff, would you say no? Meaning if it was meant to be distasteful to her or disrespectful to her.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all. You know, and, you know, here's the thing. You know, I try not to disagree. Okay, I can disagree with someone's policies, and I disagree with both sides of the aisle, even though I'm, you know, on a particular side for most of the time. But, you know, when I had people asking me to draw, you know, Obama in weird, you know, caricature, stupid positions and stuff, it's like, no, I'm not doing that. The same thing with Trump. It's like, I'm not going to do all that. I got other things to do. Yeah. You know, there's people out there who they can do satire art and they do it really well and have at it. I try to stay away from stuff that I'm not even really good at. So satire art isn't necessarily in my, I can do stuff like that, but I don't feel I do it very well.
Well, but I've seen, we have an echo for some reason. I don't know why, but you don't have 2 cameras on, right?
No, I just have the one.
It's so weird. So
let me see if I have something wrong with my audio part on this.
Okay. Well, the reason I want to move us along, but I can see why someone would ask you though, because you do the characters you do so fucking well. I can understand why someone would go to you to ask you because they know you've got the skill. You do.
Thank you.
Do. I've seen your Marilyn. I've seen your Kurt Cobain. I've seen the newer ones that I've seen of you know, The Mandalorian and what's that one that I watched you do? Captain America. You know, all of these people. You, of course, you nail it, Shawn. You nail it. So of course they're gonna come to you and ask you to do that shit because they know your skills. So let's move us along. What are 3 things you would hope that if someone were asking this of your friends or family, what would you want them to say about you when describing you? 3 things that you would hope they would describe you as. Sweetheart, am I going to answer? Am I going to have to answer?
Yeah. No, I would think the first thing is I always want people to think that I'm a nice guy. You know, I've spent my entire life trying to be as nice as possible. Even when I was, you know, bouncing in nightclubs and stuff, I was always extremely nice because I'm a big guy. And, you know, when people see you, they immediately start forming their opinion of you. So if you can kind of move them past that opinion and just say, oh, well, you know, yeah, he's a weird, intimidating guy, but he's really nice, you know. So a nice guy, great dad, and you know, I would like to be known as a killer artist, you know, because
I think
I
you've
work my
nailed
ass off.
it. You do work your ass off. I mean, I don't even know you in person, and you've nailed all of those things that for the time I've known you, 100% would say those things about you for sure.
Well, thank you.
I got some other off-color things I might say about you too, but I'm gonna put up this. Hey now, I'm gonna put up this quote here. Okay, the quote is, "Fuck being average. I'm a goddamn savage." And this is a quote by the late Van Bates, Black Hesher. He passed away. So my question to you, based out on that quote, "Fuck being average. I'm a goddamn savage." What's that thing that you like to do the most, or that puts you apart and sets you apart, so that you know you're not the average Joe and that you are something different?
You know, I really can't answer that at this point. I mean, I'm going to defer to the art, because right now it's, well, long story short, I lost who I was for a long time. In my marriage, I got so far away from what I used to be.
Right.
That I'm right now trying to get back to that, or at least something like that. I mean, prior to my marriage, I was a gym rat. I was doing martial arts. I was MMA fighting. I was, constantly doing stuff. And I'm constantly doing stuff now, but it's mostly like running dad errands and, taking care of kids and trying to run an art business. And that's great. That's wonderful, because it's kept me sane. But I'm trying to find out who Shawn is again.
Mm-hmm.
Because Shawn was a non-entity for about 20 years, and I'm trying to get back to something. Oh. No, it's okay.
I can relate to so much of what you said, and we've had conversations about some of that. And the art, I know, like, for example, I've seen men and women draw women in all kinds of ways. And as you know, I do a lot of women in my paintings. I use a lot of women. I use a lot of, I say that, but I look around and I go, I don't do half as many women as I wish that I could be. And Shawn has.
None of us do as many women as we want.
But I'm like, great, maybe lose my shit on my show. But as you know, because Shawn knows this, for those of you watching, I have been doing more nudes, and I've been doing more self-portrait nudes, and I don't put them out there. There's most of the ones that I've done, if they're out there, you'd have to go looking. You'd have to go hunting to find it. And I'd have to still tell you if it's me or not, And the reason I bring that up is we're talking about this thing that what sets you apart from being average? What sets you apart? And I am in this world for a very short amount of time. I have not been in this world with you, or creator, you comic book guys, the illustrators, I'm super new to this, right? I've seen a million different ways people draw women or paint women. You do it in a way that, yes, there's some graphic nature to quite a bit of your pinups, quite a few of your pinups. But it's even those, there's something elegant in your lines. There's something elegant in the way you contour them. There's something so elegant. Like, and elegance is a word that you probably don't hear a lot nowadays, because not much art out there is what I would call elegant. And if you're listening and you don't know what elegant means, go look it up. and it does, it doesn't shock me to know that you're a Leo, because luxury, elegance, the ethereal, the kind of beauty that is almost heavenly to look at, that's a Leo's eye. 100%, by the way. Didn't know if you knew that, but that for me is what sets you apart as someone who's doing pinups, as someone who's doing art of women. And I think having had a woman of all fucking people tell you that you couldn't do that kind of art for as long as you did probably comes out in the focus, attention to perfecting that craft that you have now. That's just my opinion.
I like your opinion. And
He's like,
there's a lot of, I really appreciate that. I'm extremely hard on my art. I mean, you should see the stuff I throw away.
Well, we're gonna get to that right now. Speaking of your art, so going back to the question earlier about your spirit animal, because we were done with that portion of the questions, and so I'm going to hop us into a reel I created with some of your stuff. So tell me about this. I already know what you said about the fact that you're a wait, hold on a second. Perfect. That's much better. I don't need to be in there. So tell me, I know you said the lion is your spirit. I'm good. I'm still here, but this is all about you. So tell us about this work. This is done a lot longer ago, right?
Yeah, a long time ago. When I was first getting back into art, I had gotten away from art, didn't want to draw anymore. I had a couple of art teachers just really just make me hate it.
Really?
So yeah, and at the time that I was getting back into it, I was getting some tattoo work done. And the guy doing my tattoo work was a friend of mine. He's like, "Didn't you used to draw?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's looking through like some old stuff from high school and college that right before I quit. And he's like, "Man, you should really get back into this. Then you should get into tattooing." And because at the time I was working a lot of JOBs, I'd restaurant manage here, retail manage there, nothing would stick. And he's like, "You've got talent. You should get into doing tattoos." So I was like, okay, yeah, cool, I'll do that. And prior to college, I was on track to try to be a comic book artist.
Okay.
I had a couple of, really great instances where high profile artists looked at my stuff and really liked it. I had Mark Silvestri looked at my portfolio at a con, and I mean, he spent like an hour going through my book, and he's like,
"I'm not shocked."
Yeah, I was. You couldn't be around me for days after that. I was just like, yes.
You're obnoxious. You're so
Oh
cute.
Man, it was total big dick energy, man. I was just like, yes. And
really?
So, oh yeah.
I'm so glad I'm off camera right now. Okay, so but this particular piece, did you tell me?
That one I did when I was first getting back into it, because I realized I didn't want to do tattoos because I don't like people. And well, and if I fuck up on a piece of paper, I can throw it away. I can't fuck up on your arm and throw it away,
Oh, that's true.
And at that time, my now ex-wife and I were separated. I was away from the kids, and I saw a reference picture, because I use reference pictures for everything.
Hey, Aaron Blaze does, and he fucking illustrated for Disney, so don't ever feel bad for using reference.
Yeah, I sure as fuck don't, because if you ask me to draw a bird, I'm gonna look up a reference for the bird.
Exactly. I want to know what the fucking bird. Exactly. Using reference is 100% acceptable.
Absolutely. And I saw the reference of this lion and the little cub, just talking to him, and it made me miss my kids. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to draw that.
I'm going to have to send you a snapshot of the 8x10 photo I have of the mama lion with her cubs, because I wanted to put this in the reel today to talking to you, because I've never painted a mama lion with two male cubs or two cubs yet. It is on my wish list of things to paint. Let me hit play on this and go to the next image I have in here. So this is another one I wanted you to tell me about. This is one of yours, right?
That's not mine.
Okay. Well, I found it on your page, and so I was curious.
That is my son-in-law's. He did that. And my son-in-law, Cody, is, I'm going to say he's probably a lot of a reincarnation of Bob Ross.
Ooh, this is why I wanted. You're gonna make me cry, because that's why I put it in here. It was because I'm like, Shawn, what did Shawn do this? What's going on? I don't understand. It was so different than everything else on your page. Now I see why it struck me, because Bob Ross is one of my favorites. Okay, continue. Let me let you talk.
Bob Ross is one of mine too. I have Bob Ross stuff in my studio because I think I suck at drawing clouds, and I need Bob Ross's good juju to help me draw clouds.
No shit, right? I need Bob Ross. Anytime I'm doing, like I have this one painting, I think you've seen it actually, the one with the pregnant girl coming out of the tree. When I work on her, because I'm still not quite finished with it. Like, I know I want to do more on it, but when I am working on it, I hear that painting of all my paintings, I always hear Bob in my head. He's always he's like, there's a little squirrel living down here behind this part.
Yep.
So this is your son-in-law, Cody, and you think he's Bob Ross incarnated. And is he someone who shows and so people, should we do a shout out and tell people where to go find his art?
He doesn't really post it. He just did a few of those for funsies, and I posted them, and I posted them and actually sold a bunch of them for him, because people are like, holy shit, this is great.
Right?
I'm like, I know.
Okay. For funsies. I can't even make fun of that, Shawn, because as you know, 6.5 years ago, I wouldn't even show my stuff to people. So I can't even make fun of someone, because I was one of those people that wouldn't even show my work. Now this is,
there are days when I'm drawing, I don't want to show mine,
right? I don't think this is I think there's one more image after this one, but as you know, I have tons of favorites. It's really hard to say which one of your pieces is my favorite, but I do know that out of the pinups, these ones I was mentioning earlier about the women and the way you draw them and the way there's this elegance to the lines and to the colors, this is my favorite of every pinup out there. And who is this woman again? Is she a character? Did you tell me this?
That is Elektra from Marvel Comics.
Okay.
And I did that one for Pops. He has the original up on his wall.
That's right. I remember this now, because I remember asking you this before, and I'm like, I'm fairly certain you told me, and I'm sure you gave me the answer, but anyone listening, if you don't know how much I do in my life, then you can just fuck off, because I have a lot of stuff going on. That's a detail I'm gonna forget possibly, but this is my favorite. Yeah, this is it's not necessarily my favorite Shawn Howe, but it's definitely my favorite pinup of all the women that I've seen that you've done. This is, yeah. And I think the last, actually, I think I do. Let me see. Let me hit play on this. Yes, this is this. I put this in here because I saw this on your page, and I get a little pet peeved about this too. And as you know, I bought, Pop says, that's my girl. That's right. That painting's my favorite. So this is this thing that we have here. It says artists, how to do it. Buy the stuff they make, commission them for work, and share it with friends. It's easy. I had this time frame last year where I went through, like, I hadn't battled with suicidal ideations in a long time, and I had this thing last year come up with me where I was going to burn all my art. I literally was going to burn it all. And I was done. I was fucking done. I was going to have a fire sale and literally sell or burn what didn't sell. I was that angry. And what made me angry was this I saw this post on Facebook of this kid selling his dad's art because his dad passed away. And it infuriated me that the kid had that much art of his dad's to sell. Like, why did anybody? And I looked at this man's work and, oh my God, if I had the money, and not only was it all being sold, but it was like half off, you know, it was like this steal, it was all this like, you know, like half off pricing. And I was sitting there looking at all this going, and I'm looking at this man's work, and I can't remember the name of the artist, but I do have it saved because if I get an extra $1,000 or so, I'm going to that website I've got saved in my little bookmarks here, and I'm buying a piece, even though the man's not here, because it angers me. You know what angered me, Shawn, was that I didn't know who this person was while they were alive as an artist. So what do I do with that? So what have I done with that since? I've decided, and I think, I don't know if I told you directly, but I've been trying my best to buy from indie creators, indie music, indie paintings, indie art, indie books, indie poets, all of these people who are self-publishing, these independent people like you and I. So while we're on so tell me about your journey to being your own boss and doing your own thing and not having a job.
It's still in progress. So from 2017 to 2020, I worked for a bank. Hard to believe, but I did. Worked in the collections department of a bank, which me, Mr. Nice Guy, did not enjoy at all. And sat in a cubicle, and it was like that movie Office Space. It was so soul sucking that,
I've had that job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm leaving that job, as you know. I'm leaving that job. Okay, continue.
Yeah. So I started doing commission artwork to supplement my income because I have a small army of children. And
small and grandkids.
I am a granddad, and
a GILF.
So I started doing commission artwork on the side, and I would bring it to.
I just made myself. I said GILF, and then I made. And then I made myself blush, and now I've lost my shit. And then I said, "Oh well, it's my show. I guess I can lose my mind." I mean,
you're gonna make me turn all lobster red on your show.
I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna spread the word amongst creators and go, "Don't go on that chick show. She's gonna talk about you like weird, like crazy. She's gonna come on to you."
Oh no, I love it.
I'm gonna get a reputation. You're all over it.
I'm gonna walk a little taller after that.
As you should.
Well, thank you.
Do you even remember what you were talking about?
Yeah. Long story short, I lost my job in February of 20, and in a total anomaly moment from the ex-wife, she was the current wife at the time. She suggested I just go do art full time because she's like, you're making almost as much money doing art as you are at your job, and you're going to be happier. And just book all your shows and do everything. Because I kept having turned down work because I didn't have time to do it.
Right.
And so I did. Now I realized later that the whole reason she wanted me to do that was because she thought I would fall on my ass.
Yeah, little did she know.
Well, yeah. So
she
now
obviously doesn't have an artist eye that knows how good your fucking work is. Clearly.
she's just a shit person. But anyway,
because that logic, if that was her logic, but seriously, she just doesn't know art, and she clearly did not know how good you are.
And I have said a couple of times that every single big commission or big sale or every month that I pay my bills with art is a middle finger to her. And one thing that will motivate me is spite. And
I've succeeded in a lot of ways out of pure fucking spite. Continue.
Yep.
I love this story.
To the point where early next year I will be doing a art book. I will be launching a Kickstarter for it because that seems to be the way you get shit done.
Right.
And I will put on the dedication page, to my ex-wife, Leanne, thank you so much for never believing in me. Fuck right off. And my dad even came up with the idea to draw a pin up flipping her off. So
of you? Wait.
No, not a pin up of me. No, nobody wants that.
I just got all excited. Like that's a commission I could save up for. Actually, it's funny. Okay, it's not really funny. I'm gonna get serious for a minute.
Uh-oh.
I have thought. Well, I did a few of those nudes, and I don't do mine like yours. And this is zero comparison. Our art is very different. And I've considered putting the word out there that if someone wanted a self-portrait done that way, that I would be willing to do that. That's the kind of commissions I could see me doing, because even because I'm a purist original artist. Like I don't like doing any. This is zero offense to you. I don't mean this with any offense to you. I can't do what you do. Meaning I don't have an interest in doing what you do. Like I don't have an interest in recreating a lecture. No interest. But I could totally get behind a woman or a man sending me an image and asking me to turn that into a painting. That I could totally
absolutely.
Like maybe it's the nudist in me, maybe it's the tantra goddess in me, maybe there's something about that. And then one of my friends, she says, "You just want us to get this. You're just trying to figure out a way to get our nude photos."
Hey, I'm taking notes real quick. Hang on. Tantra goddess. Let me outline that in red.
And I'm like, no, I wouldn't just collect nude photographs and do nothing with them. I'm seeing like if someone wanted to commission me to do a nude portrait of them, a nude portrait in the way that I do them, which is very abstract. You can't even tell really, like especially some of the ways I position the face. You'd have to know, or you'd have to be told who the person is. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyway. Absolutely.
Okay, so I do have I'm sorry, were you in the middle of a thought and I interrupted you? You want to finish what you were saying?
No, I'm good.
Okay, because I'm terrible at this. One thing I know I need to work on is interrupting. But I am the kind of girl that watches time and I've moved things along. So I did create some words. They're called rapid fire. These are 5 special Shawn Howe inspired words. These are not words I've given to anyone else during the broadcast of my Spotlight show. And if it is a word that I gave to someone else, it's solely because at the time it mused me to give that person that word. So these are words that were very Shawn. And I just want you to give me your thoughts on them real fast. Reliable.
I try to be.
We already a lot of what we've talked about tonight is about that reliability, that consistency, that dedication to your kids, to being a dad, being a friend.
I haven't always been that way. I've not always been a good person, but I definitely try.
Yeah.
And working on it.
Yeah, I mean, in the time that we've been friends, I 100% find you to be someone who is extremely reliable. And if you feel like you haven't been, you're the first person that will call himself out and go, "Hey, did I do something, or is there something I did? You know what I mean? Like you're like, hey, because there's some people that wouldn't care. They wouldn't care whether they did something wrong or did something to upset someone or not. They'd probably just fucking be like, go about their life. You're not like that. I like that about you.
The last thing I ever want to do is hurt anybody's feelings.
Right. The next word is sexy.
I'm working on that too. I try to, when I do pinups,
right,
and cheesecake art and stuff like that, I try to think to myself, is this sexy? And I try to do stuff that's a little bit out of the ordinary sexy, like not just the obvious stuff, I just try to find, it's hard to say, like there's a piece where I did the girl with all the snakes around her and stuff. And, to me, that was pretty sexy. That was like Frank Rosetta artwork to me. I just compared myself to Frazetta. Wow. Oh, okay. But
do you know who Annie Leibovitz is?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
She's a photographer, but when I think about some of your pinups, I think about some of the nude photographs of hers.
Wow.
Where there's it's a photograph of someone nude, but it's not necessarily overtly in your face. This is sex, or I'm trying to invoke sex, but it's, you know what I'm saying? And I think you pull that off pretty well. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I love her stuff. Helmut Newton. Oh God. Bert Stern photography, and that takes it way back, but even some of the like I always grew up with the, it's kind of hard to put it in words. I've never really been one for the trashy pinups, even though I've drawn some of them that are pretty trashy. To me, I'd rather draw something that's a little bit more subtle. But
exactly. Like I find, and this is just my own thing, like even though I have already shared that I'm dabbling in doing more nudes, there's something so way sexier about not having any nudity in a photograph, like the one of Electra that's my favorite. There's nothing in there except cleavage and the line of her hip and shoulder. I mean, she is obviously nude, but she has that red drape thing over her. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next word is fatherhood.
The best job I've ever had. And I did not want kids before I had kids. I couldn't stand people's kids. I didn't want to deal with them. And I ended up with them and more. And I love it. I mean, there are days where I'm like, holy shit, I can't do this. But it's never because I don't want to. It's just because I don't feel like I can. And then I usually call a friend and they talk me off the ledge and they're like, hey, butch up girly pants and do it. And it's like, okay.
Butch up girly pants. That's funny. Stand up. Now, stand up has a couple of different meanings, but for some reason, I thought stand up guy.
That was the first thing I had, stand up guy. I appreciate that. Stand up comedian, in that I try so hard to make people laugh because it's a defense mechanism of my own. And if I'm uncomfortable, I'm making jokes. I have actually been in the middle of being arrested at an airport and walked out by a perimeter of 5 sheriff's deputies, and I was still making jokes.
Well, you are a big guy. That's why they needed 5.
I don't know why they had 5, but I was being walked out of the airport, and at one point, this woman grabbed her kid and moved him out of the way, and I was like, hold up. And they're like, what? And I was like, okay, guys, I'm looking really hardcore right now, But let me ask you a question. Do you have a dolly? They're like, shut. Yeah, they're laughing, but they're like,
Whatever.
Come on, man, I want to do the Hannibal Lecter thing.
That's fucking funny.
Mind you, on the inside, I was freaking the fuck out because I was like, I'm going to jail.
The last word is grit.
Oh, wow. My first thought is of like True Grit, the John Wayne movie. But that one I'm working on because there are days where I don't feel like I have that grit. I don't feel like I have that get up and create stuff and, make that money. Mind you, if there's a day or two where I don't, I usually hit it pretty hard, the day after and try to spend as much time in the studio as possible. And that's where the show with William on Wednesdays comes in because I know at least I'm going to do that show. Even though I may not have drawn anything for 2 days beforehand, I'm going to do that fucking show. And, it may not be what I want to draw at the time, but I'm going to make myself draw. And it's a fine line to walk because, on one hand, you don't want to force it. But on the other hand, you're like, shit, I got bills to pay. So.
Well, it's so fun. I appreciate what you just said so much because, like, I hadn't ever. I hadn't shown anyone, let anyone look at anything till 6.5 years ago. And Mother's Day of this year was the first time I ever went live and let anyone watch while I painted. Like my kids had seen me paint or ex-husbands had seen me paint or my ex-boyfriends had seen me paint, but to go publicly and allow anybody to see that, I didn't do that for the first time until Mother's Day. And as you know, I try to go on and stream live. I try to stream painting as often as I can. And I kind of got a little addicted to it where I was not only going on every day, I was going on every day for like 1, 2, 3 fucking hours. And I was sitting here tonight and I'm thinking, I was listening to you share what you just shared. And I'm like, I don't remember the last time I just came on and did a live stream of me working art, just doing a painting. And I know you probably even remember better than me because I think you were on that night. And I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, Dory, there was a time you never even did that. Because I was making myself feel bad. Like I feel like I'm letting someone down because I haven't been going live painting.
But I mean, that's a real feeling, because like, I've canceled on Will a couple of times to do the show, but it's usually stuff that's beyond my control. It's never, I just don't feel like it. Yeah. Because there's a lot of times I don't feel like it, but then I get into it and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, let's do this. And some of that shit,
you were going to be like, where's Dory? That was funny. Okay, we have people watching right now. Okay, so this is a good time for us to give it a shout out. So if you don't follow Creators Outlet, you should. And Shawn is on Creators Outlet every Wednesday night for the Shartzilla Art Show. And I happened to pop in one night. I can't remember what I was doing. I know that wherever or whatever I was doing was important. And I was late. I was late.
And I was heartbroken. I was like, what the fuck?
I think I was on someone else's show as a guest. I think. Or I had painted live myself or something. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But I come into the show and I hadn't made a comment in the comments yet. And I'm watching and I've got it on. And I hear them start talking about me. Where is she?
Because it's our validation.
It was the cutest thing ever. And I'm like, I'm here. But then, of course, what did I do? I put the spotlight back on Shawn and made a point of pointing out that there was a picture I'd posted that day that he hadn't even commented on yet.
Sorry about that.
I'm just saying, if you want to be followed, make sure you're following. Okay, so you are officially off the spot, out of the spotlight, out off the hot seat. I've gone through all of the interview portions of the show, today's show. And yeah, so you are officially off the spot.
I survived.
Yay. So what that means, though, it also means that you are in that unique position, as all of my guests are, that I give them and grant them. I give them the opportunity to put me on the spot with one question of their choosing. And the only question you can't ask is why I do spotlights. So other than that question, you get to ask me anything. It doesn't matter what the question is. I can't be blackmailed. I might tell you it's not safe for public consumption, but otherwise, I'm probably going to answer you.
So if I was going to ask a question like that, I would just private message you.
He's like, I got an in. I know how to find that out. Okay, so what's your question?
My question for you is, what made you not only stop at the Shawnzilla art show that first time, but hang around?
The first time I came on to the Shawnzilla art show, you were doing that. I used it as the thumbnail of this broadcast. The blonde with the snow. I don't know if she's a character, but the one that's
the Emma Frost.
Yeah. Is that okay? So who is Emma Frost?
X-Men character. Was a villain for a long time. Then worked with the X-Men. Yeah.
Why is she not in any of the movies? I clearly don't read the comic books.
She is.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway. Okay. So to answer that question.
First class.
Well, to answer this question, I follow Creators Outlet. I follow Will.
Okay.
I don't know when you guys started that Wednesday night thing, but I don't know why I would have ever missed any of them before, but it just so happened that was the one that I caught for the first time. So I caught it. I knew about it because I follow Will's YouTube, and I set reminder on everyone's YouTubes, by the way, because I'm a live feed stream junkie. And so I start watching it, and I'm like, who's this guy? Because your art and what you were doing was not the same as any of the other art streams I had seen out there. You weren't sketching with pencil. You weren't inking you weren't doing a comic book page. And why did I stay? Okay, our art is very different. The paintings on the back behind me are my paintings, right? Our paintings are very different. Our art is very different. But you were the first painter that I had seen on any of these shows that was more akin in that kindred spirit way to myself. In the sense of the way you were painting her, and you were using markers, which really caught my attention because I had just finished illustrating my haiku series, and some of my pages I did in that series I did with markers, cheap shit piece of crap markers, but I did it with markers. And I'm watching you, and I'm like, he is doing what he's doing. Getting the effect that he's getting in like a painted portrait, like it almost looks like a fucking photograph with markers. That's why I stayed, and that's why I keep staying, and that's why I kept watching, because now since then I adore you as a human being, and you know this, okay? 100%. I'm totally a fan. But your art and the way you do your paintings, and I'm going to call them paintings. I know they're markers and you call yourself an illustrator, but I'm the painter who likes that word. I'm sorry.
No, I like it too. I just don't feel like I live up to it.
No, I get it. You're not using paint. To me, you're right. The fact that you're not using paint, because even when I think about the artwork I did for the haiku series, I think I worded one of my things as a hand painted piece on my on my campaign. And then I had to second guess myself because some of those are done with markers. So technically they're not painted.
No, I do use paint sometimes.
Yeah. Well, then there you go. Oh, well then, dude. Okay. So now for all of you guys that are watching, we're going to switch to a part of the show, which is, I'm going to basically give the mic over to Shawn, and we're going to feature some of his work. Let me make sure I can figure out how to do this without. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, wait, I think it's this one. Nope. Fuck it. We'll use this. Okay. So for those of you, I know I'll just be on the screen with you, Shawn. Okay.
Well, I have you on the screen with me.
Thank you. For those of you watching, this is the Facebook page where you can go find Shawn's art. It is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. The Art of Shawnzilla is the handle for the Facebook page. The first thing I'm going to do is go to his shop. And look, all my little notifications are going to come up while we're here. And I'm going to just does this let me scroll one at a time? No. So just let's try to do this, quick and thrifty, Shawn. So tell everyone who this is and what she is. And it says it's a print for $8, but you can tell.
That is Deadpool and Harley. Harley Quinn's super popular for a while. Deadpool's also super popular, and it's kind of a takeoff on the old Rolling Stones Janet Jackson cover. Most people don't even notice Deadpool, so.
It took me, when I first came across this, of course I knew it was Harley right away and that someone's hands were on her, but it took me a minute to focus my eyes to know who else was in it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is Bat and Cat. You're like, people should know what this is.
Well,
this
sorry.
Bat and Cat art print. So Batman and Catwoman?
Yep.
Okay. Nice. It's another print.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hello, Daryl. Now you did this. I'm assuming the originals of these are sold or gone?
Yeah.
Okay. But you can be commissioned to recreate them.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is definitely, obviously, a Black Widow.
Yep. Gotta love Scarlett Johansson.
Very nice.
Thank you.
It looks like, view, come on. What the hell? Oh, here. More
You're
from
having technical difficulties.
It's so weird. I was on one view and it made me go to this. Oh, Boba.
Yeah.
Boba. Nice. This one lets me actually. Oh, that's so weird. It makes me close out. Then I'm going to go in this way. Let me open this one. Captain Marvel?
Yep.
This is exactly what I was saying earlier. They're 100% sexy. Clearly, she's taking off her outfit.
Yeah.
Right? But it's done.
I was actually going to go a different way with that. My original thought was to actually incorporate Thor into it. But I know, right? Bounce, bounce, bounce. But I just decided to do that.
Well, the subtlety of the action of what she's doing this way, to me, is far sexier than if she had more clothes off or if it was more graphic. That's just, what I'm saying? It's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What is this? Cherry on top?
Yeah, I had found a reference picture of a pinup model in that pose, and I wanted to draw it, but I suck at backgrounds because I never think of the background before I get started, and I feel like I honed in that background. But yeah, it was basically she's got a candy store behind her, and I really should have done a lot better with that.
Well, I love what you just said because, and I don't know if this is going to matter, but I do a lot of abstract. It's called abstract realism, and honestly, 99.9% of what I do is the centered piece or person. I couldn't fucking care less about backgrounds like this. Okay, my paintings are nothing like yours, but I don't do backgrounds. Like, I don't even fucking care about backgrounds. Most of my backgrounds are solid colors. So I think you're fine. It's just my opinion. This is rad. I love this red.
Thank you.
Is that a marker or paint?
That's all marker.
Wow. Fucking. The reason I ask is because I think it was me and who was it? Me and someone else. There's another painter. Might have been Kate. It might have been when Kate was on. We were talking about red and how I think I had to use red lipstick one time to get a red good enough for what I wanted in the painting. Like, none of my red paint, none of my red acrylic, none of my red anything, nothing was working. And I ended up using a lipstick, a liquid lipstick. I think, or no, maybe it was something I had in my Halloween kit. I love this. This is, of course, Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
5x7.
That's a pencil drawing of Val Kilmer from Tombstone, which, I mean, who doesn't love that movie? You know?
Oh, yeah.
How can you not?
Right. It was so funny. I said $8 for an 11x17, and I realized that it was on the 5x7. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. Because to me, at first, I was like, that is way too cheap. But now, no, yeah. 25, that's definitely more reasonable.
And that's usually with free shipping too, which shipping is crazy.
Oh, yeah. And La Katrina, so there's another one here. Can we see? And I'm sure we can see the screen. Okay. All right. But this, you said, for everyone that's watching, you are doing some work on this shop that you're going to do tomorrow. You're going to be adding.
Yeah, I'm going to be updating the shop. Pops has been busting my balls about it for like months, because every time I show up on CromCon, he's like, hey, I'd like to buy some stuff. I can't buy some stuff from your shop because it doesn't work. It's like, oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah. And then I say I'm going to fix it. I never do. But yeah.
I'm just scrolling as you talk. I love that. This is definitely, are these girls anyone I would know, or is just two women?
Just random internet models.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious. Did you still have this one, or it's sold?
That one is not sold. I'm going to look at that one again before I really push it, because I don't think I did very well on that one.
This one I did. She's definitely sold. Definitely. That one I remember. Oh, yeah. This is sold. The original. That one's sold. The original is sold. I'm looking at your. I'm going. So I went fast because I was looking at the thing where it said sold, and I'm like, well, clearly they can contact you for a print of any of those, right?
Yeah. Well, you cannot. I don't do any prints of Lady Death stuff,
right?
Because the owner of that, he's not real keen on people doing prints without his permission. And honestly, I'd like to work with him sometime soon. So, I'm going to
we're not going to make the creator mad.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, it's all good. Now, I don't care if I piss off Disney.
Okay, so this is the one you were doing when I met you. And
that's it.
In addition to the fact that you were using markers, which is what struck me, what really caught my eye as well is that, and why I was immediately taken into watching you paint that night. I don't do pastel. I don't do light colors. I don't. It's not that I don't know how. I just don't like to. I don't want to. Even when I've tried, I for whatever reason I end up using a lot of dark, bold colors.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying. I love this Kurt Cobain. This is a wrestler. Who is this? What does it say?
That is Becky Lynch.
Okay. Have you ever? Ooh, that's a good question. Have you ever been asked, or have you ever considered doing the Bella sisters?
I'd like to do the
Bella. Do you know the Bella sisters?
I haven't drawn the Bella's twins yet, but they are definitely on the list, because living in the Memphis area, pro wrestling is such a big thing around here.
Oh yeah.
So having some wrestlers in my catalog, it definitely helps. So.
Oh yeah, well, the Bella Twins comes to mind when I think of the tasteful, elegant way that you do pinups, and I think of the way that you convey, women in a manner that is not only sexy but also that elegance.
Yeah, they're absolutely gorgeous, and I mean, I would love to draw them.
So. Oh yeah, and one of the things I love about the Bella sisters is I used to watch that show. I can't remember what called Divas something about the divas. Total Divas. And as women supporting other women, just even as human beings in general, there are two women that I would absolutely enjoy meeting and getting, like, just even if I could be in the same room with them, I'd be pretty happy. So that is pretty much it for tonight. Again, for those of you that are watching, the way to get a hold of Shawn is at the bottom of the screen. It's also in comments of this broadcast. I put that in as a comment earlier. It's also in the description of the broadcast. Everything in terms of his links and how to find him are there. Otherwise, do you have anything else before I let you go, my dear gorgeous man?
Oh, thank you. I gotta tell you, the opening sequence that you did with the flashes of art and the music, that was amazing. Like, I love that. I was just like, wow.
Well, I will make sure that file is put in a Google Drive shared folder place, and I'll make sure you can access it so that if you ever wanted to use it as an a trailer or something for yourself,
I actually need to talk to you because you could probably tell me how to do stuff like that.
We can trade services because, as you know, next Friday is my last day of the day. And one of the things I will be making sure people are aware of is the fact that I can do that I can create trailers like that with logos and names and things of that nature. Am I going to charge an arm and a leg? Probably not. But it is something going forward. I am going to look for another role in healthcare. I will intend to do that. But my game plan, my jam is to hustle my ass off and figure out a way to do less mind-numbing office space, want to shoot myself in the head bullshit. But if I find a role in healthcare with a company that I can be on board with and work with, then I'm not, but as of right now, I'm leaving my job on Friday and I have nowhere else to go. So I will be on the mad hustle. And yes, you're correct.
I will help hustle you all you want. I will share everything you got, and we'll go from there.
Doing something like what you are talking about, that video, that is something I do. Am I perfect at it? No, but I do know how to do that. I just produced all my own music videos this year.
Very cool.
With my own music. So I do see a future in that for me, because my art's not just painting or sketching. It's a lot.
You're a Swiss Army artist, man. You got all the different brushes.
You're the first person to put it that way, and that's fucking perfect. I usually just say I'm a myriad, but Swiss Army art.
I love the word myriad.
Huh?
I love the word myriad too. So
Yep. Well, one of my poems in my very first poetry book is called "I Am a Myriad," and I did the very, very, very first music video, spoken word video I did was for that poem, and it's not anything like the videos I do now. The videos I do now, like the one you watched the one I sent you, right? The one with the one with the belt and the mask. Yeah. That video and what I did with your pictures, those are going to they're going to become part of my portfolio.
Oh, cool.
But I'm gonna, but your video footage that I put together for you, of course, you can have it. I know clearly I didn't get the artist permission for the one picture that wasn't yours. But that's
They'll be
something
okay.
that, is he going to sue me, Shawn?
No, he's not going to sue you.
It would be super easy to recreate that reel without that image in it. Because I think it's the only thing that's in there that's not you.
Yeah, I mean, and I noticed you used a lot of my older stuff, which honestly was pretty cool. Because it was like, I tend to focus more on what I've done lately, and
Well, I tend to do recon because I like to see your journey, and I like to see where you've come from, and for me, and you can feel differently about it, but when the one behind us, the girl with the vampire one, tell me again, is she a character or is she just a vampire?
No, she's just a vampire.
Okay. She reminds me of Elizabeth Shue in the face.
She does. Yes, it's not Elizabeth Shue. For reference, I don't remember the name of the girl. It was a model, and I found her like in a magazine or something like that, and in that pose, I changed up her hair, and I was just like, man, this just looks like it needs to be a vampire, right. And because I'll see a model here or there or whatever, and say, okay, yeah, in that picture she's playing with a beach ball or some bullshit, and I'll use that pose and that reference, and she'll look completely different in what I use, and she's riding a dragon or some shit. I don't know. Yeah.
For those of you watching, we're about done. So if you guys have a question for Shawn, now is the time to throw it up.
Yes.
And before we we got maybe like 2 minutes. We're over time, but I don't really fucking care.
Sorry.
No apologies. It's not you. The kind of artists we are, of course we're going to go over. What I was going to say about your older pieces that I put in there, and why, of course, they struck me, is because I've had for years, as I just mentioned, I don't do pastels. I'm not in the pastels world of blah, 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 blah. But one of the reasons why I wouldn't show people work midstream or midpoint was because I couldn't stand them telling me that I shouldn't put paint on it, or I should leave it in sketch form, or I should leave it inked, or I should leave it blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, trust me, it won't. It's going to end up like that. Okay. And it would piss me off. So I stopped posting. I stopped sharing the process of anything until it was done. However, as you know, this year is a different story. I started not only going live and letting people watch what I'm doing and see what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I'm learning that visually, for me, I like seeing stuff like this, like the vampire girl that's behind us that doesn't have any color. She's in black and white. This is only a small landscape snap in of the actual image. For you guys watching, go to his Facebook, and she's in there, and trust me, she's a much bigger piece, very much more intricate. There's more than just a headshot. The only reason she's a close-up like she is because I convert the video I did for you. I convert everything to 16:9 landscape for YouTube. And YouTube and any platform where you do video, you want it landscape. You just want it landscape. Okay. And so that's why it's like that. But the actual picture, the painting that he did of this girl behind us, for those of you watching, go look at the full one. It's stunning. And so why I point that out, and why I'm saying all of that and added those in there of your work, is because even for me, I'm trying out. I just finished one. I'm trying this thing out where I'm trying to stop and just do a black and white. Because I love them when I see them. So why wouldn't I want to leave some of mine like that? I don't know what the disconnect or why that thing is in my head for that. I was so anti leaving mine like that, but whatever. Maybe it's Do you feel like it's unfinished? I feel like it's unfinished.
Yeah, but no, not at all. Because I mean, there's sometimes where I do, I'll do one in pencil. Like the Kurt Cobain was just pencil, and that's where it needed to be. And the Kurt Cobain, there's actually a plan in place for that. So it's gonna link up to 3 other pieces, and then when I make prints of them, I'm gonna collage the 4 pieces together and make one big print. It's gonna be my first large format print available, and hopefully it'll be available soon. I just have to draw the other 3 people in it.
And real quick, because I'm gonna let you go. I know you said you're booked. Tell everyone what your booking's like right now, like what you have free time for. I know I just saw a post of yours about this, so go ahead and repeat that for everyone.
If you're in the Memphis area, I have the Beale Street Art Crawl this coming Saturday. It's a free admission event, because normally they charge like $20-25 to go to a Comic-Con and see me. Not just me, but it's free admission. It's great. It's Beale Street. I mean, I know it's hotter than hell outside, but who cares? Come out and buy some art. Aside from that, I have Memphis Comic and Fantasy Con in November. A small possibility that I will be at C2E2 in December. It's a very small possibility, but it's still there. ShadowCon in January in Memphis. I'm
interrupting you, so Pops is going to night. And
good night, Pops.
And but you said, I saw something in your post about you couldn't do any more vampires, but you had room.
Yeah. Okay. So every month I do a couple of featured characters, and those characters are 25% off. If it's a print or anything I have of it, it's 25% off. So this month's featured characters are Storm from the X-Men and Vampirella. And I have been hit with commissions on those. So I'm like, okay, I'll do 2 more of each for the month. And if you grab one of those 2, more power to you. I will say this: if you don't have a Vampirella that I've drawn, you want a Vampirella that I've drawn.
It's funny. I don't even know who she is, but I can only agree because I've seen your work and I know what your work looks like.
I will toot my own horn.
Salazar Art Nation is here, and I don't know if you know him I don't know, Frank. If you don't know who Shawn Howe is, you should know. Salazar has his own comic book, and he just recently, I think you saw it. He did the Phoenix that I had sent to me. That I think I posted. It came from Salazar, from Frank. Yeah. So that's it. You're all done. I'm going to remove you from the stream. You're more than welcome to hang out right there in the backstage green room until I'm done with the end of the broadcast. When I go offline, you're more than welcome to stick around and chat with me. I won't be offended if you've got to go and you're not there when I'm done. But otherwise, you are all done, love. I'm so happy you came on, and I'm so honored that you came on and let me feature you in Spotlights.
I am so honored to have been here. Thank you so much for having me. And
Frank says, I do not know, but I'll look him up. Yes, well, Frank.
Thank you, Frank.
You're gonna, and I can only imagine he's like me. He loves art, so I know he's gonna want to follow you. So I'm going to remove you from the stream, but like I said, you can hang out or you can leave. But I'm gonna do my.
I'm gonna have to go because I gotta start getting kids stuff ready for school in the morning.
Okay.
But I will pop on as soon as I can after that, and I'll probably send you some flirty text messages or something, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, because when I don't get flirty text messages from you, my day is ruined.
I mean, I get that. I do.
I'm just saying. I don't know how anyone goes a whole day without messaging me. Okay, I'm gonna
feel the effects of it.
I'm nice. I don't do anything mean.
Oh no, you're wonderful.
Okay. All right. Well, I am going to play your video again, so you may want to hang out till that's done playing. But if you don't hang out for that part, I'm not going to do a whole heck of a lot except talk about one thing, and then I'm going to sign off. So let me get. But like I said, you do you. All right, everyone. Thank you again to Mr. Shawn Howe for coming on, and definitely make sure you go to that Facebook page and check him out. Incredible. I'm behind the game. I should have had this on here. All I'm going to talk about this week for my weekly spotlights part is La Première Tome. Yes, I am shamelessly self-promoting. La Première Tome is a graphic illustrated haiku series, and it is being launched this coming Saturday. The haiku series is an illustrated book using images and artwork to illustrate the haikus. There's 2 editions. One is in color, one is a coloring book. That is launching on Saturday. And so for anyone watching, the link for La Première Tome is, I'm going to put it in comments right now. I welcome everyone to go click the link to get signed up for following this, because right now, up until Saturday when I launch, anyone who is on that mailing list or comes on and bumps and jumps on for that mailing list is going to get a free gift from me. Joe D. McVie says, evening. Thanks again for watching Indie Comics Explained earlier. Oh, absolutely. And I did see Frank said he was running late. And so, yeah, I think I've got all of my comments in here. Sal's a shameless self-plug. It's the best. Absolutely. But the most important thing I wanted everyone to know is why you'd want to sign up now and get your name into the mailing list now is because as soon as I export my list, I'm sending everyone whose email I have on that list, I'm sending you a free gift PDF of one of my books that I have. But other than that, let me get in here and I'm going to stop sharing that screen because I'm going to play Shawn's video again. And other than that, see you next week for Spotlights. We will have Devin Keith on, and he is Mr. D'Astro. Incredible. Don't miss it.